Welcome, everybody. Welcome back. Tuesday here, placed in shelter with your host, Ryan Catarozoli. And today I don't have anything crazy, no crazy quarantine stories yet. I've got the kids. They've been really good today. So, I've got that going for me. If you are watching on YouTube and you do want to be a part of the conversation, you can always join us live, 3 p.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday. All you have to do is use the link in the description of the video, and it'll take you into the Zoomcast here with us live. If you do have any topic ideas, or like I said last show, hey, you want to be a part of the show, you've got a good idea, let me know. We can work something out. I'd love to have some new guests on. I've been sitting here thinking, and, my boss has come to me, and a lot of the questions have become, what are we going to do as things reopen? What are some of the new projects we're going to do? What's some of the equipment that we can offer? I've been thinking a lot about that. And as restaurants begin to reopen, most of the products that we have, like Dave Ralston said on Friday, can be modified. We can do different things so that they can be used in this new world. But I started thinking about it, merchandisers might need to have a front added to them. Soup stations may need to be completely enclosed or potentially have a robot, serving the soup to you. Even things like strip heaters, perhaps you're going to have to put doors or shields on either side of them, even in a pass-through counter. So I started thinking to myself, I said, what's one product that we have that really doesn't require any changes that could actually work in kind of today's world? So does anybody have any guesses? You can go ahead and throw them in on chat. I'll give you a hint. There are a couple of them, but it's a product that we haven't talked about yet. And quite frankly, sometimes I forget how versatile this product is. So we'll let Joe watch that and see if anybody hits the nail on the head. But with that, today's episode is going to be called the Everything Drawer. So let's think about it. What are some of the things that these drawer warmers can actually do without any real modifications? Well, number one, it's completely enclosed. So your product is protected. It's inside of a drawer. Although the drawer can be opened and closed, just like any other piece of equipment, the majority of the time the food is in the drawer warmer, it's closed and it's protected from outside sources, not to mention it's heated on the inside, between 160, 170 degrees. So the product there would be relatively safe. The next thing is it's great and versatile for holding. We'll get into some of the products that you would place in it in a second. But when you start thinking about it, there's not many things that I cannot put in a drawer warmer where they won't hold extremely well. Number three, you've got humidity options. So you remember in some of our previous talks, we talked about how to extend hold times and enclosed environments, controlling the environment, heat, and humidity were all big things that we utilized in order to extend our hold times. Well, here's another example. You can add the spillage pan and water baffle, and now you have water and humidity inside there, so you can extend your hold times inside the drawer warmer. They can be easily moved. You can see in the picture here, they've got casters on the bottom of them, so they don't necessarily have to be built into a particular wall or prefabricated piece. They can be wheeled around and they can be moved pretty freely. And then last but not least, they can be built in, so if you do want to have them under the shelf, built into a wall, a ton of different examples. So let's start thinking about what are the different products, right? You can see here, you can have them built in completely underneath of a counter. Here again, built in completely underneath of a counter. What are some of the food products that we put in here? The first thing is literally everything when it comes to the food world. Vegetables, potatoes, biscuits, sandwiches, burritos, chicken, hot cookies, chips, potatoes. I mean, you pretty much name it, and we can hold it inside of this unit. Where can you place these units? Well, you saw a couple of examples there. Here's another couple of examples of built-in units. Here's one that's a standalone, and although this isn't going to be out in the front by customers anymore, you can see this one here is behind the counter. It looks like perhaps a busser station, if you will, fine dining, and this is probably where their hot rolls are coming out of. Here's another example. When you go to the hotel, how many times do you see plates of cookies and they've got just a simple plastic container over the top of them with a little slide door, serve yourself? I don't know if that's going to be a thing. But here's an example. You can still offer your hot cookies and they're now safely placed away in a drawer warmer, and they're hot as opposed to cold. Last but not least, we really want to talk about kind of the different options that you have. So we hit most of those right there. What I want to talk about is going to be the endless possibilities that we have and what the advantages are with the Hatco product. So obviously, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know exactly what the future is going to hold, but I think those were a lot of good points as to how we can utilize these as things become reopened. Let's talk about Hatco advantages. So there's a lot of different drawer warmers out there, a lot of different competitors. But when you start talking about Hatco products, this drawer warmer is going to have your 12-gauge stainless steel, both frame and slides, and that's going to be really noticeable compared to a 16-gauge. I know Debbie does in her presentation where she actually has somebody bend the metal, and you can see how easy it is to bend 16-gauge versus 12-gauge. Now, this is one of those things where when you hear it 12 versus 16, or even seeing somebody bend the piece of metal, I think the real telltale sign is when you walk up and actually physically open and close the drawers. That's where you can tell where the make is really set aside from the competition. Sometimes you walk up and you can rattle the entire unit. It shifts on itself. The drawers sound tinny. Ours sounds extremely solid. Two more things to point out. You've got the nylon rollers in there. And with that, you have a positive closing mechanism. So the drawer is never going to be left open. Just a simple push in and it's going to then help close itself. And that also helps keep it remain closed when you're not inside and using it. So here you can see every single drawer is fully insulated. Here's a single. You've also got a double and a triple. So every single cabinet can be a separate temperature. Because of that insulation, they hold at different temperatures extremely well. And then you have the new digital timer that's placed on them. So with this, you can actually dial into specific temperatures as well as time. So you know exactly how long product's been in there. And you can have those set to different times as well. So you know if certain products need to be pulled, replaced, or you need more of another product. Here's kind of a cool chart, and it's a little bit difficult to see, but let me just give you the basics here. This thermostat was set at 160 degrees, and they did a test for 180 minutes, actually past 180 minutes. And what they did was every 3 minutes, they opened up the drawer for 5 seconds. And the idea was to simulate somebody constantly going in and out of the drawer and what your recovery times were. You can see the temperature recovery times would go down when the drawer was open and it would go back up. But take a look at the food temperature, which is the line that's being pointed out here. That maintained above 150 degrees the entire time. So you want to talk about great insulation, great efficiencies, and great recovery times. The drawer warmer can do it all. Now, we also have a brand new piece of equipment that some of you have never seen before. And, you know, we usually have either the drawer warmer with the controller on the side of it, like you saw in the past examples, or you had a drawer warmer that was narrow. It still had the unit on the controller on the side, but now it was deeper because the pans were taken from sideways and they were placed lengthwise. So it gave you the footprint left to right you were looking for, but the depth was always a bit of an issue. This right here is basically taken those two and melded them together. You get the depth that you're looking for, but you also get the width without having the big controller on the side because it's placed on the top of the unit. Now, I could go on forever on these different drawers, but a couple more to point out. You do have convected drawer options. Remember, I talked about that in our fried food segment. Great for holding fried product because you get moving air as long as you need one temperature for all of them. And then you also have split drawers. So if you don't need the 6.5-inch deep pans, you can do 2.5-inch deep pans. And that again helps with the fried food because you're not stacking product on top of each other. And then the last thing, you can even see we offer different temperatures, and it also shows you the type of heat, whether you want dry or moist. So you can use the spillage pan, and you can then control the vent setting. So on the front of the drawer, you decide how much humidity is escaping from the drawer. So you can see if you want it completely closed, if you want it open halfway or open all the way. This will give you different temperature settings. As a rule of thumb, obviously some experimentation will need to be done, but you can see from the list here, everything from rolls to tacos, tortillas, fish, casseroles. This thing will hold everything. Hence the reason why I called it the everything drawer. So with that, that's going to wrap up today's conversation. So now if you have some questions, back of the house air curtain, question mark. So yeah, Joe, actually that was one of the other products that I was thinking of. However, they do give the illusion of being open. Some people may look at that and get a little scared. Glow ray merchandisers, again, with the merchandisers, I think are an awesome option, but I do believe you'll probably have to modify them. I'm thinking customers are going to want some sort of door on the front of them, even if it's just a flip door. The appearance of having an extra layer of security will require that kind of a modification. Good news, that's already one of the options that we have for it, so it's not something that needs to be redesigned. Austin, GRHD series. Would the unit with the controller on the top still fit under the counter? It depends on the height of the counter. I will make a note, and we will put that in the description what the overall height is, unless Debbie's in here and knows it off the top of her head. I do not, but you know, typical countertops are going to be anywhere from 32 to 36 inches. So depending upon where you are, as long as the unit is under that, it should fit without a problem. Christine, can the drawers safely hold house-made potato chips? In fact, yes, there's also an option you can get in these, which has a chip guard. And the chip guard is essentially a baffle that sits over the top of the heating element. So if chips were to fall down, they're not going to sit right directly on top of the heating element. These will hold chips absolutely fantastically. They are a great option for homemade chips, or even just tortilla chips that were purchased. You know, you can take a bag of tortilla chips and throw it in there for a half an hour, and you pull them out and they taste like they came right out of the fryer. Debbie, this is designed to fit under the countertop. So again, I thought it was, I just don't know the official dimensions. And of course, if I say yes, and it's 32.5 and somebody has a 32-inch counter, I'll be the one held on glass. So I will get the official measurements and put it in the description when the video goes on YouTube. Job with the favorite Hatco drawer. Oh, awesome, Debbie. I appreciate it. It makes me happy to know that we nailed it out of the park when you're the expert on drawer warmers. All right, well, I don't see any other questions coming in right now, so let's go to everybody's favorite part and share my screen once again. And we've got our memes for today, and I believe all three of these, once again, were submitted by Charlene Brennis. She's got a knack for picking out appropriate memes. Don't get me wrong, I'm still loving all the ones that are inappropriate that I can't put on the show. Quarantine day number 40. Today I woke up, had a smoothie, and did a home workout. Translation, started drinking margaritas at 10 a.m. and fell down the stairs. I thought that was fitting for Cinco de Mayo, even though I didn't know it was Cinco de Mayo. So it all worked out in my favor. Here we go. This song is now going to be banned due to the ongoing crisis. Sweet Caroline is now banned from use. There will be no touching hands, reaching out, touching me, or touching you. Thank you. And last but not least, this is a personal favorite of mine. No bills, the mailbox is closed due to coronavirus. I wish that was true. So awesome, I'm gonna stop sharing here and check the chat, just make sure I didn't miss any additional questions. And it looks like we didn't. So that's gonna wrap up today's episode. So thank you everybody for joining us again. If you're on YouTube, you can always catch us live 3 p.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday. Use the description link. If you do want to make sure you don't miss any of the content coming out, simply hit the bell notification in the lower corner, and that'll let you know every time a Hatco YouTube video goes live. And show us you're enjoying the content by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great day.